Assalamu alaikum. Today's statement is titled Vetoing Biden's Decision and Declaring Omicron XXL Large Global Calamity. The statement was written by the already Imam Mahdi, Nasser Mohammed Al-Yamani, on the 19th of April 2023, and it will be recited to you by one of his supporters. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. May Allah's forgiveness and peace be upon all his prophets and chosen caliphs, and whoever rightly followed them till the day of judgment. May you and all Muslims enjoy the blessed last days of the month of Ramadan. Allah the Exalted said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. فلما جاء سليمان قال أتمدونني بمال فما أتاني الله خير مما أتاكم بل أنتم بهديتكم تفرحون ارجع إليهم فلنأتينهم بجنود لا قبل لهم بها ولنخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون قال يا أيها الملأ أيكم يأتيني بعرشها قبل أن يأتوني مسلمين صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Naml verses 36 to 38. Being two back-to-back verses, what made Sulaiman change his words in them despite the time difference between both being only a few days? I shall continue reciting the story for you with the truth after the return of the leader of the convoy of the great gift to his people with the response of Allah's Prophet Sulaiman. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ارجع إليهم فلنأتينهم بجنود لا قبل لهم بها ولنخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Naml verse 37. When the messenger returned to his people with the response of Sulaiman, the prophet of Allah, the queen's people, who are of great power and intense might, were furious about his response and took it as an offense and pronounced humiliation for them, while they come from a great kingdom and are not weak. When they sent him the gift, they anticipated that he would reply with kind words even if he would not accept it. They thought he would call them to his da'wah using wisdom and kind advice, especially because they were unaware of it. However, King Sulaiman's response greatly provoked and infuriated them, for they did not send him a threat to receive such an angry and rude attitude that insulted their pride when he replied to their messengers sent with the gift. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ارجع إليهم فلنأتينهم بجنود لا قبل لهم بها ولنخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Naml verse 37. The queen's people were quite angry and said, We are not lowly and we shall fight King Sulaiman with all our intense might and power. But the wise and forbearing queen said, I'm asking you to do what we agreed upon in case our gift was refused, which is to be submitting Muslims to Allah, Lord of the worlds, with Sulaiman. Because our Islam is not for Sulaiman, thus his reply makes us go back on our word. But our Islam with Sulaiman is for Allah, who created us, the sun, and the moon. He is indeed the most worthy of our worship. I have indeed submitted to Allah alone, no partners with him. And the reason for becoming a Muslim submitter to Allah was never Sulaiman, but this bird that came to me earlier before bringing Sulaiman's message and was standing between me and the sun in the window of the temple. Whenever I tried to scare it, it did not budge. Then I tried another window to prostrate to the sun, but it stood between me and the sun and made sounds for me to understand that I and my people are evidently misguided by our worship of the sun besides Allah, Lord of the worlds. Consequently, I considered it a messenger from the Lord of the worlds before it came to me carrying Sulaiman's message. She continued, Look at this pious bird that was standing at the window of the consultative council watching how you will react. And I bear witness to the Hoopoe bird and you that there is no God but Allah alone, no partners with him, and I submitted with Sulaiman to Allah, Lord of the worlds. So the dignitaries who are the members of the consultative council were surprised that the Hoopoe bird headed towards the queen and heard her declaration of submission to Allah, Lord of the worlds, in public. The Hoopoe came out of the window and the queen saw it heading towards her, so she stretched out the palm of her hand where it landed and bowed its head to salute the queen, to express to her and her people its admiration for her public declaration of Islam in front of her people. They were astounded by the gestures of such a beautiful bird. Then the queen said, Submit to Allah, Lord of the worlds, and you shall see what it will do to express its happiness with you as it did to me before. When they seized their fury out of the response of Sulaiman after witnessing the gestures of the Hoopoe, they stood to fulfill what they agreed on with their queen in case their gift was refusing giving back to them, and said, "O our queen, what do you want us to say?" She replied, "Say we bear witness that there is no God but Allah alone, no partners with him. We have submitted in Islam to Lord of the World with Sulaiman, and we are sincere to him in religion, fearing Allah only, for we do not fear anyone else but him." Her people responded, "We bear witness that there is no God but Allah alone, no partners with him. We have submitted in Islam to Lord of the World with Sulaiman, and we are sincere to him in religion, fearing Allah only, for we do not fear anyone else but him." Here the hoopoe flew, soaring over their heads, spreading its wings, praying to its Lord, while circling inside the consultative council above their heads. Then it landed in the hands of each one of them and bowed its head to greet them and to express to them its great happiness with their submission to Allah, Lord of the worlds. They held the hoopoe and kissed it, and it would also put its cheek on the cheek of every one of them to express to them its great love for them because of their submission to Allah, Lord of the worlds. It was as if it wanted to apologize for the response of Sulaiman, the Prophet of Allah, just as so it was saying, "Put the blame on me." It smoothed their ruffled feathers, and they sincerely repeated as-shahada from their hearts, so they felt humbleness when faith entered their hearts. Hence the hoopoe felt happier when it saw their humbleness to Allah alone, so it started surrounding inside the consultative council, spreading its wings and singing melodiously to express to them its intense happiness because it was disdaining them before for worshipping the sun other than Allah. Do not forget the earlier words of the hoopoe. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وجدتها وقومها يسجدون للشمس من دون الله وزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم فصدهم عن السبيل فهم لا يهتدون ألا يسجدوا لله الذي يخرج الخبأ في السماوات والأرض ويعلم ما تخفون وما تعلنون الله لا إله إلا هو رب العرش العظيم صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Naml verses 24 to 26. After the hoopoe finished its prayer to thank Allah by soaring over their heads inside the consultative council, it landed on the queen's palm to say goodbye to her and bowed its head in front of her. Here she knew it wanted to leave to give Sulaiman the glad tidings of her and her people's submission to Allah. She kissed and embraced it and said, "Safe travels, and tell Prophet Sulaiman that we are coming to him fully submitting to the Lord of the worlds." She knew the hoopoe understands her language, but she does not understand its, but grasped its intention and happiness through its movements. It flew away and left the consultative council heading back to Sulaiman, Allah's prophet, and kept flying night and day to catch him before he goes to invade the Queen of Sheba and her people. It reached the Levant and found the armies of Sulaiman were already in a state of complete militarization to invade the Queen of Sheba and her people. Prophet Sulaiman was in his consultative council when the hoopoe landed in front of him and said, "Hold on, O Allah's Prophet. Do not be hasty." The queen and all her people submitted to Allah and said, "We submit together with Sulaiman to Allah, the Lord of the worlds." Sulaiman was surprised to know this. How did they easily give upon their worship, which their forefather used to practice, and submit with Sulaiman to the Lord of the worlds? He ordered his armies to call off their preparations to invade the Sabaean kingdom, and his words and reasoning changed after the arrival of the hoopoe that told him the story. That is why his words changed in the 2 consecutive verses of the different speech. Here I clarified for you the secret behind Sulaiman's change of words. That is the hoopoe that blamed him. Ponder upon these successive verses said by Prophet Sulaiman that perhaps you may understand. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ارجع إليهم فلنأتينهم بجنود لا قبل لهم بها ولنخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون قال يا أيها الملأ أيكم يأتيني بعرشها قبل أن يأتوني مسلمين صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Naml verses 37 to 38, chapter 27. You will find that the hoopoe made Sulaiman do 180 when it did not return, since it went with the message of Sulaiman because he told the hoopoe to wait for the response of the queen and her people. Prophet Sulaiman knew from the hoopoe that the Queen of Sheba has been given a share of everything she needs and described her well-prepared and trained armies who are militarily equipped and had drilled horses and elephants that are trained to fight. So he was afraid lest they suddenly invade him as a response to his message. That is why he sent the Hoopoe there to stay and keep an eye on them, to know how they would react. He also ordered the Hoopoe to come and inform him to get ready to engage with them in case it saw them getting ready to invade the Levant. I do not see that the Hoopoe flew ahead to tell Sulaiman about the convoy of the great gift sent by the Queen to Sulaiman, because it saw that the gift did not act as a security threat against Prophet Sulaiman. That is why he did not go to tell Prophet Sulaiman about the convoy. It stayed in the kingdom of Saba and did not return to Sulaiman except with the news about the submission of the queen and her people to Allah. For this reason, his tone changed from getting ready to invade the kingdom of Saba to waiting for them to come to him as honored Muslim guests, in line with the word of Allah the Exalted. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ارجع إليهم فلنأتينهم بجنود لا قبل لهم بها ولنخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون. قال يا أيها الملأ أيكم يأتيني بعرشها قبل أن يأتوني مسلمين. صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Naml, verses 37 to 38, chapter 27. Sulaiman, Allah's prophet, paved the hall with diamond glass that is more beautiful than what Allah has given them. This action by Sulaiman took the queen's breath away from the beauty of the diamond floor of the hall. Sunlight was greatly reflected, which made her think it was water reflecting the sunlight because it was leveled like a mirror. This is because the Hoopoe provoked Sulaiman by describing the augustness of her throne, implying that it is greater than his. But when her throne was brought, Sulaiman, peace be upon him, saw that it is only made of pure gold and ornamented with diamonds. It was as splendid and beautiful as the statue of the calf made by Al-Yamani, which amazed the children of Israel at the time of Moses. The calf was made of jewelry created by Allah. He did not give the children of Israel any knowledge about diamonds except for Al-Yamani. In the same way, he gave Qarun knowledge about how to dig up gold. Al-Yamani knew about diamonds to put the children of Israel into trial, so he made them a diamond calf which they have never seen anything like it before. He made it while Musa and the witnesses who went with him to demand for seeing Allah were away. Al-Yamani said, "This is your God and Musa's." To know how the calf was made and using which jewelry, science proves that gold and silver contract with cold conditions, but when glass is heated and then subjected to coldness, it shatters into small pieces. That is why Musa said, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وانظر إلى إلهك الذي ظلت عليه عاكفا لنحرقنه ثم لننسفنه في اليم نسفا إنما إلهكم الله الذي لا إله إلا هو وسع كل شيء علما. صدق الله العظيم. Surah Taha, chapter 20, verses 97 to 98. Back to the story of the Prophet of Allah Sulaiman, peace be upon him. What was the wisdom behind bringing the throne of the Queen of Sheba? Is it for him to see if she would be guided to see the miracle of bringing it from her country to another country, then it would fortify her faith? Or she would be put into trial and think he was a magician who made her falsely visualize her throne, then he would know she would not be guided because she denies the miracles of the true supernatural power of Allah that take place in actual reality by which he supports his prophets to validate their call. The truth is, Prophet Sulaiman knew that she was truly of those guided to their Lord when she said, "It looks to be the same," and blinked to make him understand that she is certain it is her throne, which was brought by a supernatural power from Allah. However, she does not want to turn her people away from following the truth, thus they regress into disbelief and say, "This is not but manifest magic." For this reason, she postponed informing her people it is her real throne until they return to their country to find the queen's throne in the consultative council missing. Although the council is fortified and its gates are locked and there are security guards on them. When they return and do not find it, they would know it was the throne they had seen at Sulaiman's. As for the queen, she knew it was her throne, which is why she winked at Sulaiman, peace be upon him, and said, "It looks like it," to let him know she was aware. Here Sulaiman, peace be upon him, knew that the Queen of Saba was from those who had been given knowledge and rightly guided. Accordingly, you saw that Prophet Sulaiman admitted to himself that Allah made her know His greatness and power when she winked at Sulaiman, saying that the throne looks like hers. And Allah the Exalted said, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلما جاءت قيل أهكذا عرشك قالت كأنه هو وأوتينا العلم من قبلها وكنا مسلمين. صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Naml, chapter 27, verse 42. When she winked at him, Sulaiman knew that she intended to let him only know she was aware it was a real throne, for she wanted her people to know about the throne when they returned to their country. Then, when they see it was not in the consultative council, their faith would fortify, knowing that the throne of Sulaiman's was not a replica of the queen's throne, but her real one, which had been brought by the power of Allah. That is why Sulaiman testified for her that Allah had given him the guidance of knowing her Lord, Allah, before her, and that she has become a true believer. Although Sulaiman has not taught her anything yet, but it was Allah who had taught her the truth before she came to Sulaiman. For this, Sulaiman, peace be upon him, said that Allah had given him knowledge and had submitted to Allah before her. To summarize, the greatest contribution in the Islam of the Queen of Saba and her people is the wisdom of the wise and believer bird that directed her towards knowing Allah. This Hoopoe also absorbed the anger of her people when they heard the response of Sulaiman by the tongue of the gift-bearer. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ارجع إليهم فلنأتينهم بجنود لا قبل لهم بها ولنخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون. Surah Al-Naml, verses 37, chapter 27. May Allah's prayers, the forgiveness and peace be upon this Hoopoe that believes in Allah, Lord of the words, and is faithful to Him in religion, in way of prayer, in line with the word of Allah the Exalted. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Mulk, chapter 67, verse 19. Also in line with the word of Allah the Exalted, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم تر أن الله يسبح له من في السماوات والأرض والطير صافات كل قد علم صلاته وتسبيحه والله عليم بما يفعلون. صدق الله العظيم. Surah An-Nur, chapter 24, verse 41. O Muslims, protect yourselves from the soldiers of the severe and might COVID by the statement I wrote on the 19th of May 2020 titled Coronavirus and the decisive statement that is not to be taken for amusement. The prayer inside also heals whoever caught the affliction of COVID. So sincerely and penitently pray for Allah from the bottom of your hearts and be honest with Allah so He makes your wishes come true, and do not mock this lest what you mock backfires on you. I know you that the severe and might COVID changed its plotting in summer to thrash those who call it seasonal influenza that occurs during winter, and it shall invade the world in summer. US President Joseph Biden, who declared the end of the state of emergency of Corona, even though I issued you a ruling in a previous statement that Allah will increase the severity of Omicron until you declare a global calamity. Imam Mahdi Nasser Mohammed Al-Yamani is not a liar. Allah will humiliate you, China, and the Hindus of India with it while you are debased no matter how your pride is. I swear by Allah He will destroy the pride of all the arrogant ones, so fear Allah, O Joe Biden, and be of those thankful. I swear by Allah, you will roll out the red carpet to receive Imam Mahdi Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani, Allah's caliph on the whole dominion of Allah, and days will prove this to you. We shall see if Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani was truthful or just messing around. Judgment is Allah's, He is the best of judges. You cannot overcome the word the COVID soldiers of Allah in His cosmic war. What is the worth of your power in comparison with the power of Allah? Exalted is Allah the Great. You shall not be sure, I, Al-Mahdi, the Caliph of Allah, know from Allah what you do not until you read the series of clarifications about coronavirus in its well-concealed secret. I am, by the command of Allah, vetoing the decision of the White House by announcing that Omicron XX large is a global calamity, and indeed the soldiers of Allah are the triumphant. However, I'm praying for Allah, saying, O Allah, I ask you to save those who, if knew the truth among all Arabs and non-Arabs, would follow it, and judge between me and those who hate your pleasure within in the world, among Arabs and non-Arabs. Indeed, you are the swiftest in reckoning. Peace be upon the messengers, and all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Allah is caliph on the whole dominion of the worlds. Imam Mahdi, Nasser, Mohammed, Al-Yamani.